To be honest, the place is pretty run down. Transmission failure sucks. I am so sick of diesel problems.
Welcome to the final and the most epic part of this adventure. If you are just now joining us, I will fill you in on what's going on. We packed up my truck in Chattanooga, drove to St. Pete, and bought a not-so-ready-to-go boat. We spent several days working on the boat. After that, we crossed the Gulf, and I was a nervous wreck. We ended up leaving it in Mobile to go home for a few weeks, and now we're back to make the rest of the journey. We left off here on Bay Springs Lake, the last stop on the Tombigbee. Alright, we are leaving Bay Springs Marina. It was a pretty pleasant stay. Great marina, clean facilities. Definitely recommend it. This is a nice lake, this Bay Springs Lake or whatever it's called. I can't remember. This is a very nice lake. This is the nicest water since probably Gulf Shores, to be honest. You know, all the waterways up through the Tombigbee are kind of murky and muddy. They're probably just kind of stirred up from the barges and water flow and everything else. But this lake here is actually clear. You can see maybe 3 feet down, which is surprising. And I look at other people's vlogs and YouTubes and everything else about the Great Loop, and the Tombigbee waterway is really kind of one of the least talked about waterways, and it presents its own challenges. So even though we're not doing the Great Loop right now, we did a good chunk of it. And I'm hoping that this video will help people out going through the Tombigbee. Going down the man-made canal part of the Tombigbee. So this is like the last section of it going north, or the first section going south, and it's just pretty easy going, easy to navigate, nothing weird about it. It is what it is. Major diesel leak over here. We probably spent the last almost hour trying to fix it. One of the new O-rings blew out on it. It's still leaking, but probably no worse than it was when we crossed the Gulf. So we're just going to call that fixed. And we'll fix it when we get home. I don't know what else to do.
You want to show them your shoes?
I had to make special booties to get down to the nasty bilge. Grand Harbor Marina. It's actually a really nice marina. Just look at it. I mean, it looks like something you'd see in Florida, right here in the middle of Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee tri-state area. We were projecting to stay there when we were downriver, closer to Mobile, but the way things are lining up, it's just best if we go all the way to Florence today. All right, here we are, the Tennessee River, from St. Petersburg to the Tennessee River. Still not quite home yet, but we are on our own river. So where we're at is right here, still at the mouth of the Tombigbee, and this is the lower Picklewick. We have 40 more miles until we're in Florence to the marina. And unfortunately tonight is not going to be a relaxing night because I'm going to have to go down there and try to get that injector pump to quit leaking so bad. It was leaking about the way it is now, and I went to go try to tighten some stuff up and play with some stuff, and man, I made it pour. So we had to shut down that engine, only run it on one engine while I pretty much took it all back apart, and now I just got it back to where it was leaking before. So, old boat problems. I am so sick of diesel problems. I noticed the boat's listing now, so now we need to transfer some fuel.
This has been an ongoing problem the entire journey. I am yet to figure out why the tanks do not distribute the fuel correctly. This Amazon fuel pump has definitely earned its keep on the boat.
Alright, we are in the Florence Harbor Marina. Finally made it up here. I tried getting some video footage of us coming in, but the camera died. Anyway, what we have to do before we go any farther is we have to fix that diesel leak. It is very bad. We limped in here well, not really limped, but it just leaked all the way in here really bad. Now I have a bilge full of diesel that we need to dispose of, and no, I'm not going to just dump it into the river, so don't worry about that. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to suck it up on my transfer pump, and I'm going to put it in the front fuel tank. There's 3 tanks on this boat, and the front one is not being used right now. I don't know if there's a problem with it or what, but that's just where I'm going to put it, and then I'm just going to clean it out later. The diesel that's in it is very nasty, so I don't think it's going to hurt anything just sucking some of this off the bilge and just putting it in there. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's fix this leak. I think it's one of the crush washers that goes to the injector line. Alright, so it's almost 10:30 and I got most of the diesel leak fixed. You've seen how it was pouring out. It is now just a kind of a drip, 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 which I'm okay with. We'll make it home. We only have 2 more days. The part that I really wish I would have got on camera, I dropped a tiny spring and a tiny pin down in the bilge. Could not find it. I finally found it. It was underneath the starter, but I had to have a magnet to get it out. If I would have had one of those little antenna magnet things, I could have got it right out. I don't have one. So the MacGyver in me made something work. So needed a magnet. I got my needle nose and I went up on the bridge and got the old VHF that no longer works and just ripped it apart, got the speaker magnet out of it, and then broke a chunk off the magnet, put it in my needle nose, and pulled it right out where it needed to go. I want to say the wife and the father-in-law were truly impressed, but because I guess if you're gonna be stuck at sea, be stuck with me. So I need to plan my trip yet. I don't even know exactly where we're going tomorrow. Probably either Decatur or Huntsville, something like that. We will see you tomorrow. I'm very tired. Alright, this is the cool part about doing YouTube, is sometimes you run into other followers. This is actually the first time this has happened to me. So a guy that is transient docked in front of ours, he's got a Pluck-A-Bomb, which is a really cool boat. And if you go back in some vintage junk and treasures, you'll see this Pluck-A-Bomb 67. Anyway, he invited us over to come take a look at his boat, so that's what we're gonna do.
This is Randy, the captain of the Pluck-A-Bomb. This 2004 Pluck-A-Bomb is like super mint and very well cared for being a 2004. Unfortunately, we just do not have the time to give a full tour on this video. I'll do my best to put a tour together in a future video.
Alright, we are
northbound, and we are approaching Wilson Lock, which was pretty much right out of the marina. This is the highest lift lock east of the Rockies. It lifts up to 100 feet, so this one is going to be really big. I thought the other one might have been one of the biggest ones. It is one of the biggest ones. It was the fourth biggest one, but this one is the biggest one east of the Rockies. So Wilson Lock is basically two locks. You got the big main chamber, and then you got the small auxiliary chamber. The auxiliary chamber is like a double stack tandem. So you go in one, go up, and then you go up again. But the big one, I think, is a single lift.
I think one of the most underrated or overlooked superstructures of the United States, or the world rather, is these lock systems on these rivers. I mean, it's just simply amazing on how much engineering and concrete and construction, depths, everything that have been put into these things to build them and make them here. And not only that, how old they are. The one, not this particular chamber, but the chamber next to us is right at 100 years old. Just like that, we are up. We are now on Wilson Lake. Next stop is Decatur. And another lock. This is Wheeling Lock. This is what the name of this lock is here. We finally made it to Wheeler Lake. This will be the last lake for the day. We're going to stop in Decatur. We got to our first TVA nuke plant. This is Brown's Ferry. TVA, which stands for Tennessee Valley Authority, and the Tennessee River are very famous about their nuke plants that have been burning very clean and have been very successful for 50 years now, about. We have a fuel transfer problem. But wait, there's more. My Amazon fuel transfer pump crapped out. Surprise. So when we went into town to get stuff to do the oil or the diesel fuel leak, bought me another one from Harbor Freight. So let's see if Harbor Freight is better than Amazon. It's a lot stronger, but it's a bigger pump.
Good morning from Decatur, Alabama. Oh, less than 200 miles to go home. We stayed in a marina last night, or still in it right now. It's called Riverwalk. I'll be honest, the place is pretty run down. The restaurant is closed. Looks like it's been closed. The bathhouse is closed because it had a fire. The hoses for the fresh water, the valves are frozen, busted open. But two good things about this marina. We had power, no problem, and it was cheap. It was super cheap. It was $1 per foot. So yeah, you might want to complain about everything, but it's better than being on anchor right here in the river. So yeah, for $43 we had a dock to tie to and free power, so you cannot complain about that, and got a good night's sleep. So anyway, we are gonna head to Guntersville today. I don't know exactly how far we're gonna make it up Guntersville Lake, but we're gonna go as far up the lake as we can possibly go, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be getting home. That's what our ultimate goal is. So let's get this old girl fired up and start getting her on our way. I'd also like to mention we got to meet up with my sister while she was on business in Huntsville for the week. Talking about some amazing timing. Alright, here we are. We're on Wheeler Lake still, but we're kind of upriver where it's kind of a river, you know, kind of up the lake far enough where it's just like a river. Today is very overcast and drizzly. I'm hoping we won't run into a problem. We got a lot of rain back home, a lot, last night and yesterday apparently. Chattanooga is flooded. They shut down interstates, the mall area, East Ridge, Tennessee, all that. They just got flooded really bad. I'm looking through Facebook and everybody's posting pictures of cars floating around and everything else. Now, why that presents a problem for us is the Tennessee River is basically the drainage ditch. So I don't know. I know it was a lot of rain all at once, but I don't know if it was enough rain to cause a problem on the rivers. I guess we won't know until we get there. But obviously we're still around Huntsville right now, so any kind of water that was way upriver hasn't made its way this way at all, and it probably won't for several days. But we are going that direction, and I'm thinking by the time we make it up there, it's probably going to meet us in the river part. Maybe not. The only thing I'm really worried about is currents and log jammers. So just bear with us and see what happens. We're gonna anchor out tonight on Guntersville Lake. We are really trying hard to get home tomorrow. Alright, we are rain-Xing the windshield since my windshield wipers are non-existent. And we are coming into a storm. I hear lightning and thunder, and it looks like right around this bend is when the rain's gonna start. So we did this just in time. Boy, we did that in the nick of time, like literally as soon as we walked in, the raindrops were starting on the windshield. So probably here in a few minutes, we're gonna be driving down here for probably the first time the whole trip. Well, here it comes. We've already started driving down here. It's lots of lightning and thunder, and now here comes the rain. I got the radar going. You can see we're coming into the weather pretty hard right up ahead. This is the second major rainstorm we've hit on this whole journey. We've been on this journey for 11 days, and at least this one I get the luxury of being at the lower helm. The last one I was upstairs, and I'm not doing that again.
Alright, we are in the Guntersville lock now. Tied up and ready to go up. This is the last of 3 locks. Woo! So happy. We just stopped and refilled at Guntersville Marina, and now we are going to drive another 38 miles to our anchorage and go out there, anchor out, and probably eat some dinner, get up early in the morning, and hopefully make it all the way back to Chattanooga and put this boat in its new home. I am so tired. I can't stress to you how tired I am. Alright, so the rain has finally cleared up, and it is turning into a nice day out here on Guntersville Lake. We only have about 30 more miles till our anchorage. This is going to be the last night for us to stay on the boat, hopefully. It's kind of bittersweet. We're all tired and just really want to go sleep in our own beds, but then again, the journey's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do something like this again. It's moments and days like this today that make it to where I'm gonna be kind of sad to not be on the trip anymore. It was rain and crap earlier today, and now it's just super nice and super pleasant. The temperature is great. We will adventure again. So one thing about the Tennessee River that most people know, especially that live around the Tennessee River, is there's a lot of nuclear power plants. One particular plant, you can see the wires going to right here. This is the Bellefonte nuke plant. It was never put online. It never received any nuclear fuel or anything like that. Rumors had it was about 90% complete. I couldn't really find the confirming numbers, but construction was halted in 1988. The reason why was for multiple reasons. The demand for power wasn't quite there, construction costs skyrocketed, and their building permits expired. And rumor has it, it was because of a act for no more nuke plants or something like that. I don't know how true that is. They were gonna try to get it back online, or work on getting it online in 2005. But after surveys and everything else, they decided it was just not worth the cost. I don't know what the state of it is gonna be for its future or anything like that, but it's still standing there. It's just a brand new nuke plant that was never used, just decaying away.
We finally made it to our anchorage called Coon Creek right off of Guntersville Lake. The scenery was absolutely breathtaking. If you're planning on taking a Chattanooga side trip on the Great Loop, this is one of those moments that I would strongly recommend it. It just does not get much better than this.
Well, good morning from Guntersville Lake still this morning in a slough with a awesome view. Today is our last day of travel. Hopefully I don't jinx it, but let's get this ship underway. This is such an amazing spot. I'd hate to leave here this morning. I wish I could just hang out here for another couple days. If anybody is looking for this anchorage, it is called Coon Creek. I don't know the mile marker exactly. It's upriver a little bit from the new plant that is not active. So, Coon Creek. We are officially in Tennessee. The boat has made it to Tennessee.
I look out across the water. I smell the song. I feel the breeze. But in my heart I hear the calling of my old home, Tennessee.
Alright, this is just one of those damn it moments. We're so close for being home. And we got to the Nickajack Dam, which is the second to the last lock we have to go through. And I called them for a lock through, and they are closed until 4 o'clock. They have maintenance issues that they're having to take care of. You can see the crane in the lock right now. They're having to fix a valve. So he said it's gonna be about 4 o'clock before we can get locked through, which means typically at 58 more miles to being home, or a 58 more mile day, we probably wouldn't make it the rest of the day. But I think being this close to home, if we get to like downtown Chattanooga, close to dark or dusk, we're just gonna go ahead and power through, because we'll be on our own lake where we know the waters very well. So we were hoping to be there at like 4 o'clock, so we're probably gonna end up being there close to like 9 o'clock, something like that maybe. I don't know, we'll see. And on another note, we had one shift cable starting to give up. Like, I went to go shift it into neutral and it wouldn't go, and the cable got hung up, and I think it's just time for a new cable. So while we're limping this thing home, got the diesel leak, got the cable issue now. As long as it can make it another 50 miles, we could doctor up this old girl and get her up to date on maintenance. Well, I guess we're forced to enjoy ourselves in the water while the lock is closed for nearly 5-6 hours. Alright, they got us a little bit early, about 10-15 minutes. We're going in, so we're gonna go ahead and pull the anchor. And I already yelled at all these fellows out here, and they're all excited. We're just waiting out here for hours, man. Woo. Alright, here we go. We're on Nickajack Lake. This is the second to the last reservoir. We gotta get on to Chickamauga, and that's our home lake. Alright, so coming up is Hales Bar Dam. It's actually no longer in service. It's not even a dam. Most of it has been demolished. The only thing that remains is the old powerhouse. It's one of the oldest dams on the Tennessee River, or what was the oldest dam. They started building it in 1905, and it was completed in 1913. Since the beginning of construction, it's always been a problem. They've had issues with the foundation of the dam right from the get-go. It's went over budget. Legend has it the dam is haunted. The reason why it went out of service is they had a problem with the foundation of it leaking, and it went out of service sometime around the 60s, and it was replaced with Nickajack Dam, which we just went through. Now the legend is why it's haunted is they built it on Indian burial grounds. So if you believe in superstition, then there you go. That's been its problem since the get-go. But documented, it has had foundation problems since the get-go. So only thing that remains today is just the powerhouse. And during the month of October, they actually give haunted tours of it, so it's actually a pretty cool thing to see. But it's just an interesting piece of Tennessee River history.
now starting to enter what they call the River Gorge. And this is a gorge between two mountains, Raccoon Mountain and I think Suck Creek. They call it the mini Grand Canyon of the East. It's very scenic. It's definitely one of those worth the side trip to Chattanooga if you're on the loop. Videos and photos, they can't really capture the true beauty of the River Gorge on the Tennessee River. It's a must-see yourself. It's a real treat. Talk about some really cool infrastructures, mega structures on the Tennessee River. This is the Raccoon Mountain Reservoir. You can see way at the top up there, there's the visitor center. So what it is, there's a reservoir on the very top of this mountain, and from what I remember, the reservoir is as deep as the Statue of Liberty, if not even deeper. And what they do through this right here, when power is not in huge demand, like during the spring and the fall, they have giant pumps and they just pump and fill up that reservoir. And then when power is in demand, like during peak summer and peak winter, they drain that reservoir and it turns the turbines and creates power. So it's just basically like a giant battery that's being charged up and just ready to be used. It's just fascinating stuff, and like a lot of people just don't even know it exists. This is one of those moments that it just felt absolutely wonderful to be alive, and you're very happy with the decision to buy a boat in Florida and cruise it home. It's amazing it went from this to this. But hang on, our journey is not over yet. Just 20 miles from home, we lost the starboard side transmission. Well, unfortunately, I'm not going to get any video footage of downtown Chattanooga during the daylight. Sun's going down already. We're not going to get into our slip probably till midnight. Transmission failure sucks, but at least we're not very far from home, so. And they're not hard transmissions to pull out. I'm just severely frustrated with this thing now. Like, we've been on this boat for days and we just can't wait to get off of it. And then diesel leaks, generator issues, and now this. So, and waiting for a lock for 4 hours. That didn't really help our mental state much. Well, we made it. We are in Chattanooga from St. Pete to Chattanooga. Here we are with one engine. Well, there she is, home sweet home. I wish I could have got some daylight pictures of it, but it is what it is, and now we're going upriver, completely dark, and I hope all the log jammers floated downriver because I can't really see. Pretty much from here, we limped it through the lock, went across our lake about 10 miles and backed it into the slip. We ended up having to take the arch down, but that's a story for a different video. It took us a total of 28 days between working on the boat and traveling to get from St. Pete to Chattanooga. This concludes our journey, and I appreciate you guys so much for watching it through.
Alright guys, this is just my conclusion video right here. So we obviously made it home last night, 1 o'clock, coming into the marina on one engine. It's been a heck of a journey. We spent pretty much a month on this boat total. About 27 days in total is what we spent on the boat, and probably 20 of that was traveling. I'd have to go back and double check. I came back down here this morning to kind of unload some stuff off the boat and to kind of give you a update on the transmission, because I know I'm leaving you hanging on that. I think it's the coupler, the dampener that goes between the transmission and the engine, I think it let loose. I start the engine up, you could hear it jangling around inside the bell housing. I won't know 100% until I pull the transmission away from the engine, which is not that hard. I could probably do it within like an hour and see it. But anyway, there's a good chance I get this boat back up and running within a week, depending on parts availability. That's pretty much what you're gonna get from here on, is for a little while, is just projects on this boat. So if you want to see me do some projects on this boat, please comment. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this whole adventure. I did. And now this weekend is getting to video editing. So I will see you guys probably not too long after you complete this last video.